Let's get her done. Wait, if we wait, we may say 30 minutes to
I saw that.
I hear you.
Does you want to hear some news and this is coming from you get there, cut it short right after the season.
I was a representative from D. Is that right? Okay.
We'll get that 8 o'clock window and not
today, I didn't even turn it on. But it gives you some report you, so that she's
I'll tell you, I will be honest with you.
You know my book. God forbid that I should tell you about my book. You know what it is? It numbered. That's all. Sure. It sure is. I mean,
Saturday.
no, I don't either.
Let's get her done. Let's get her done.
You'll stand, please, for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Christiansburg Town Council is now in session. I have one additional item for the agenda that I need to amend. We do have a resolution. We'll be honoring the Christiansburg High School football team for their undefeated season and their regional championship this year. And we did not put that on the agenda, and I need to add that. So could I get a motion to amend the agenda?
Second.
Motion and a second. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may also move to amend the agenda as well, to remove my closed meeting request that we discuss a personnel matter. I'd like to go ahead and actually take that off the table this evening.
Okay.
Second.
So moved and seconded to remove, that's the closed session portion.
Yes, sir.
To remove the closed session from the meeting. A motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. You should have copies of the minutes of the last meeting that was delivered in your packet. Hopefully you've had a chance to review the meeting, the minutes. Do you have any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Move we approve as presented.
I'll second. Motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. We're real pleased this evening to have with us an old friend. Well, I shouldn't say old.
Long time.
He's a long time friend.
I don't know.
I remember when she was just a little girl in school. Fran Hart, who is going to address council on behalf of the Christiansburg Alumni Association. Fran?
Thank you. And I'm getting older, just like all the rest of us, every day. My name is Fran Hart, my address is 1535 Grandview Drive, Christiansburg, Virginia. And I'm here with Ms. Connie Turner, who lives at 101 Allegheny Street, tonight on behalf of the Christiansburg Alumni Return Group. This will be the third year that we are going to be sponsoring a large-scale event for all Christiansburg alumni, their family, and their guests. And this is anybody who attended school, worked in the schools, had any association with any of the Christiansburg schools at any point in their life. I'm here to bring you good news. I'm not here to fuss at you. I'm not here to cause any trouble, any ruckus. I'm just here to share some really good, exciting things that are going to be happening. The 2010 car, and we just say car, the Christiansburg Alumni Return because it's a lot easier, was a big success. We had about 950 people involved in the weekend's activities. And we started out small. We were just going to have the social on Saturday night. It was grown with different activities that we add in. Bless you. We were also very pleased.
He didn't get a Christian word.
We're also very pleased to say that we are financially in the black, and we have managed to set aside the first $2,000 into a separate fund for our scholarship efforts, which we hope that by 2014, the Christiansburg Alumni Return Group will be able to start offering scholarships to graduating Christiansburg seniors. This year's event is scheduled for the weekend of August the 12th through the 14th. We won't be doing the play, The Three Sisters in Black, which has been very successful for us, but we've done it 2 years in a row on the Friday night preceding the social. Instead, this year, we're going to be having a sock hop, and it's with bands that are Christiansburg locals performing.
I don't have to chaperone it, do I?
Well, Dick, you might want to be there because we are going to be.
I've had my share of sock hops.
And at concessions, we're going to be selling hot, fresh Krispy Kreme donuts. And anybody who ever went to Christiansburg High School knows how many boxes of those Krispy Kreme donuts that were sold through there. And I'm quite certain that money had to go into the office somewhere. You were probably responsible for collecting that. This is going to be on Friday night. The social itself will be Saturday night at the Recreation Center. Family affair, alcohol free, $10 at the door, heavy refreshments, enough that you can make a meal out of it. We'll be honoring various Christiansburg alumni. We'll have memorabilia displays, and we are expecting to top over 1,000 people this year. My personal goal is 1,100 people involved, but I know I can say with confidence we're going to have over 1,000 people involved with this event. For the first year, we also have had enough requests that it makes it feasible for us to get in touch with the local motels, and we will have a designated hotel with a block of rooms set aside. We've got people on the internet already asking us, where should I stay, what's there to do, and that kind of thing. So we invite everybody to come. It's going to be a big event, and I would like to request once again, we have coordinated our schedules with the Christiansburg Recreation Department, and as the council so very kindly 2 years ago set aside the second weekend in August as Christiansburg Alumni Weekend, we would like to request for the free use of the Christiansburg Recreation Center on Saturday night, along with the provision that we provide some volunteers for setups and breakdown and that kind of thing. I'd also like to ask this year, the Aquatic Center is such a new, beautiful facility and really needs to be shown off. So I am approaching you all with the idea of what if we just have a 2.5 to 4 hour time period where anybody who wants to can stop by and see the new facility, particularly for our alumni who are coming in from out of town. I think it's a real feather in our cap. Kudos to everybody involved with that project, and I doubt that many of them are going to be swimming. If we did this on Sunday after the social, I think a lot of people might like to just kind of stop by and see the facility, but not necessarily get chlorinated or make use of the pool. So I would like for you all to consider that, and I'll be happy to get in touch with Ms. Caldwell and discuss schedules and things with her. I would like to say thank you to the town council for your continued support. Thank you to the Christiansburg Recreation Department, Art Price and all the staff there. Thank you to the Christiansburg Police Department, who have been very gracious in making sure that they check on us and that things are going right. And it's just a good event. And Tasty, if the farmer's market is up and running that weekend, then maybe that would be a way to highlight something else new and exciting in Christiansburg. Excuse me, I want to talk to you about two fantastic opportunities for you all to participate in our fundraising efforts for the Christiansburg Scholarships. Number one, on April the 22nd, which is Good Friday, we're going to be sponsoring a golf tournament out at Auburn Hills. And if you don't play golf, that's okay. You can still make a financial contribution to the scholarship fund. So I did bring a few of our flyers. I'm going to pass these around in case anybody is interested. If you'd like to, some of you may be, or you can pass them on. If you'd like to get together a team or two, that would be absolutely fantastic. And again, all the proceeds off this will go to the scholarship fund. Aren't you about anybody else with your now, that's going to be a big event for us. We have the potential to raise another $4,000 projected from that event. We probably won't be doing all that, but we certainly would hope to. Next thing is, we have applied for our 501, or we're in the process of applying for our 501c tax-deductible charitable statute, or status, rather. So we are able to do fundraisers, and we are able to do things, and then people can put this down as tax exempt. The best way to get in touch with us is probably on the Facebook site, and it's Christiansburg Alumni Return. We're evolving more into an actual Christiansburg Alumni Association with all the things that you might normally think of in terms of an alumni group. But the next thing I'd like to talk to you about is another fundraiser, which won't come up until next year. However, it's one of those things that you need a lot of prep. Christiansburg is going to cruise the Caribbean. We are sponsoring a Caribbean cruise, working with Martin Travel, and the cost per person for a two-person inside cabin, including all your tips, amenities, port charges, $50 credit on the ship. And that too is going to be a fundraiser for us. And don't you think it's going to be a hoot to have 40 or 50 or 60 people from Christiansburg get on a cruise ship? Now, this is the Norwegian Epic. It's a very new, very large ship. The beauty of it is we can go as a group if we want to, but that ship is so large that you could lose yourself and lose everybody else. So it's like, if you don't want to be around all those people, you don't have to be. It's a fabulous price, a great opportunity. This is one of the few cruise lines that actually offers single cabins. Most cruise lines don't offer it. I'm not doing a commercial for them. But we'd love to have some of our town leaders. We'd love to have anybody who would enjoy going with us. If we get enough response, we'll probably charter a bus and provide that option for everybody, so you don't have to drive and you don't have to fly. And the information I just handed to you, please get in touch with us again. You can contact us on the Christiansburg Alumni Facebook. And, yes.
Tell them how that is their fundraiser.
Oh, I don't know if you know much about cruising. I do a lot of travel and have worked with travel and tourism for yay many years. When you book 16 people, 8 cabins on a cruise ship, they give you the equivalent of one person's fee. Not your port charges or your taxes or anything like that, just the normal cabin fee. Well, usually when you put cruise groups together, the escort or whoever either takes that and goes for free, or the bus driver goes, or whatever, or you break it apart and everybody gets $20 credit. We're not doing that. everybody pays their own way. Nobody gets a free ride. So in turn, the cruise company itself, Norwegian Cruise Line, will pay us approximately $700 for every 16 people we get to go. So it's a great deal because we're gonna get $800, but we managed to get the price per person down by $100. So we're gonna make less, but those savings are passed on to the people who are gonna be going. And that's how we actually make the money. So if we get 16 people, we'll get $700. If we get 32 people, we'll get $1,400, and so forth. So we have reserved 10 single cabins, 16 interior stateroom doubles, and 16 balcony staterooms. Now this cruise ship is also unusual that you have no rooms that are ocean view. And as you may know from traveling, an ocean view may simply mean that you've got this little porthole. But on this particular cruise ship, it's either inside or you've got a balcony. And I just got back from a trip on this same ship at the beginning of this month, was lucky enough to get upgraded into a balcony room. And it was so nice. You're perfectly safe, you know, with the railings and everything. But it was just great to sit out there in the evenings and watch the ocean go by, or watch in the mornings as we pulled into port. Only other thing I want to share with you about this trip is that we'll be stopping in 3. We're going to the Eastern Caribbean ports, so we'll be stopping in St. Thomas, which is a U.S. Virgin. We'll be stopping in St. Martin, which is the Dutch side, St. Martin, and we'll be stopping in Nassau on our way back. So I think those are all exciting things, and we just got word today, I think 8 ladies attended by a lady from Snowville, wanted information. The group in Blacksburg, 2 groups in Blacksburg wanted information. And we don't care where you're from or who you are, because it's going for scholarships for Christiansburg. So this is open to anybody. And I do thank you. Connie, did I forget anything else?
But any of you that are alumni and want to help us work, we'll be meeting again at Amelia's on March 21st at 6:30. And we can always use help to
Do everything.
sounding boards, if nothing else.
And the memorabilia that we're attracting, we're getting more and more people making donations of memorabilia from Christiansburg High School. And of course, we're having to catalog that, and it's just very exciting, very exciting. I think people are taking a lot of pride in our town and our schools. So I do thank you all very much for the opportunities, and again, the only thing I would like to request is the free use of the recreation department building as we have been doing, and the consideration of a time span on Sunday, August the 14th, at the Aquatic Center for visitors to take a look at that facility.
Okay, thank you very much, Fran. We
Thank you.
appreciate that.
And I hope some of y'all are gonna go with us, because we plan this cruise in February of next year, because hadn't the weather been atrocious? Imagine getting away in the sunshine, it's gonna feel good.
Fran, you don't need action taken by council, but if you will talk to Terry Caldwell about the use of the facility there, then she will be back in touch with us. And if we need grant approval, we will. But do it the same way you work with Art.
Okay, we'll see her tomorrow. I'll be over there anyway tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now we have the newest member of the Roanoke Salem Baseball Hall of Fame here with us this evening. And I'm not going to talk about his age or when he went to school. Art Price is here, and he's going to give us some information and also an announcement, I believe. Art, come on up.
Actually, Chuck's going to do the announcement part.
All right.
Just briefly, let me say is that, you know, I've never ever come here and dread to talk to you all or be here, but I do tonight because it makes me feel a little bit boastful, and I'm truly trying to be a humble person, and, you know, I've just been blessed with that. But I have a program in Ball here that I want to share with you all in a little bit. from the Hall of Fame. But first of all, you know, I just want to say is, you know, the whole experience seemed unreal to sort of, you know, be something that you appreciate, but what was even more unreal is that, like I said, I try to be a humble person and care about a lot of people try to do, but to have 48 folks, family and friends from Christiansburg there, you know, sort of was, you know, that, you know, real big. But what I would like to do is, you know, like I said, I have a program involved here that I'll get to in a second, but I just really want to, you know, and I've said it before standing here, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I don't do it for brownie points, which, or anything like that. But that I sincerely appreciate the town of Christiansburg for allowing me to work here for all these many years. You know, my family and I have a wonderful life, and we owe that to the town of Christiansburg. I haven't always been, you know, a perfect employee, I guess, as any of us have. You know, learned from the school of hard knocks. So, you know, thanks to Mr. Ballinger and Mike Barber and Mary, you know, some folks have been there along the way. But, you know, I thoroughly enjoyed and appreciate every moment of my job. You know, that, you know, not to sound corny in any way, shape, or form, but, you know, the Lord has blessed me with, you know, a great family, good friends, and a wonderful job, and I sincerely appreciate that, and I sincerely appreciate the town of Christiansburg. You know, that might sound a little odd or dumb, but it's just the way I'm made, and it's the way I feel. But anyway, I have a program here for you all from the Hall of Fame, and part of the reason that I have it is that we did have a ad in there from the Recreation Department and from also from the town of Christiansburg. There's some other local ads in there from Custom Catering in Blacksburg and also DJR Enterprises in Radford. And my family had an ad, and then also Texas Roadhouse. So, you know, Christiansburg was represented here. The ball that I have was autographed by the guest speaker who really, you know, all night seemed to sort of fall in my lap. Who's also a friend of mine, Al Bumry, who was the 1973 Rookie of the Year, and he was also, when he played for the Baltimore Orioles, and was former great. But one of the things about Al is, you know, probably even more cool than his baseball thing, or definitely more cool, is that he served our country in Vietnam and won a Bronze Star in the jungles of Vietnam. So, you know, I like to put that. But over the past few years, he and I got to become friends when his son Stephen was playing at Tech, and just talking baseball, and he preferred, told my wife, he said, you know, you can see in my eyes how much I love the game of baseball and trying to help folks out. And he presented me with one of these jerseys. So anyway, I'll leave the ball here, Mal, and then also the program here for Mr. Ballinger, Mike, wherever, you know, you all want to do it. Just say thank you all again, and appreciate the life y'all given me. I like at that time now just turn over to Chuck.
Several of us had the privilege of attending the Hall of Fame ceremony Sunday before last, and it was a much more elaborate ceremonial occasion than I had imagined. And to see Art's picture or his plaque up on the wall there with his accomplishments, we were quite proud of you, Art. You did a great. And where did you get that shirt?
Well, actually, Al gave it to me as a gift.
Oh, you're the #1 Oriole now?
Well, no, I'm still a Yankees fan, but he played for Orioles. He was #1, so
all right, Chuck,
it had his name and number on the back.
We've heard enough. Chuck?
Hello, Council. I'd just like to let you know that back in January, we went to a Dixie Boys State meeting in January in Lynchburg, and they awarded us the state tournament for this summer. It'll be starting June 15th or July 15th and run through July 22nd. Also, when we had the World Series up here last summer, a lot of the Virginia Dixie representatives, they sort of been him hauling around that they'd like to make us maybe a permanent site for state tournament. So that'd be nice. But that's all I have.
What age bracket do you have?
This is 13, 14.
13, 14, okay.
And we're also hosting the World Series again,
2012.
2012. Okay.
That'll be 13.
All right, well, good job.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to having all those folks in town again.
Thank you.
I think you could honestly say that Christiansburg is somewhat of a pace setter when it comes to baseball, and the new facility that we have has certainly hosted some excellent ball players, and we look forward to seeing that tournament this summer and then the big World Series again next year.
If I could add, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
One thing of a personal nature I'd like to say thank you to Chuck for is I enjoyed the baseball to no end. Again, I remember from the Dixie World Series last year, there was a lot of us there. But I know they're also making a push now to get more girls athletics there as well. And they're holding their first, I believe, 12U and 10U girls softball travel tournament there, the 26th of this month. That'll be a 2-day tournament. And for those age groups, they'll be using Kiwanis and the Hark-Ritter Field, the Hark-Ritter Complex. So again, from a personal nature, I'm certainly very interested in that. But I really appreciate that. And it's, again, whereas the boys at that age group are excellent ball players, I think we're going to be amazed at some of the talent that comes out of the Roanoke Valley and on down for the girls travel softball. It's pretty amazing. And the facility is going to be, I don't think they've ever seen anything like that before on a girls softball field. It'll be interesting.
Thank you. All right, this is a portion of our program that we reserve for anyone who would like to address council on any matter. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to council on any concern? Yes, ma'am.
Elizabeth McCauley, 195 Woodenshoe Court. Recently I attended a planning commission meeting and brought up something that they thought I should bring to you. As you all well know, people know, we've had a problem in the approximate area where I live, that there is an enormous building project going on. It's been going on for years and years and years. And what has happened is the building project gets stopped and started, and there's a huge area here that nobody has touched for 3 or 4 years, leaving a mess behind, in my opinion. They are, on occasion, they're working back over here, and it's the old 1 nail a year routine, and it's still being allowed to continue. This is not a safety matter. It's simply, in my opinion, a detriment to the community and lowers our property values. It's just downright ugly. And recently it came to my mind that the property where this mess is has been on occasion up for sale and up for auction. What happens when the original project is not finished and that part which is left unfinished is sold to somebody else? Do we start all over again, and the mess that's now been sitting there for at least 3 to 4 years could be sitting there forever? And my understanding is somewhere along the line, the building codes for Christiansburg need to be changed. So this, I don't know if you can take care of something that happened in the past and is still hanging over our heads, but certainly it shouldn't happen anymore. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, anyone else to address council? You'll just stand and address your comments to
Absolutely.
council.
My name's Rob Brynick. I live at 750 East Main Street. And I know that Christiansburg is looking at approving the possibility of keeping hens, chickens in town limits. And I believe I sent an email to all of you with a little packet of research I prepared. I don't know if anybody got that. But after discussing this some with Randy Wingfield, he said that you all had asked them to study it, but it was placed on a low priority. And I'm here to request that it be moved up on priority for this year, because chick season is about May or April. So I'd like to see if the Planning Commission can study that and present that to you all, so the Christiansburg residents can possibly take advantage of that this year. And also, I'm very pleased that we're getting a farmer's market. Fingers crossed, which is an awesome thing for promoting local food, and chickens would be a great chance for food to be extremely local for many Christiansburg residents. So that's my request. And
Okay.
Thank you for taking it.
All right, thank you. Did you get his name, Ms. Clerk?
Yeah, it's Robert Brynick. You want me to spell that?
That would be nice.
Okay. It's B as in boy, R-E-I-N-I-C-H, and I'm at 750 East Main Street. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brynick.
You're welcome.
Anyone else wish to address council at this time? If not, then we'll close the citizens' comment portion and move on to discussion by the mayor and town council. We have a conditional use permit request by Patricia Klein Epperly for a private school. Mr. Chairman of the Planning Commission, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, sir. Whereas the Christiansburg Planning Commission, acting upon a request by Christiansburg Town Council, to study a request made by Patricia Klein Epperly acting as agent for property owner Epperly Elite Training Center, LLC, for a conditional use permit for property at 100 Central Avenue, tax parcel 467-18-1, for a private school in the B3 General Business District, as found following a duly advertised joint public hearing with council that the public necessity, convenience, general welfare, and good zoning practices permit the issuance of a conditional use permit to Patricia Klein Epperly, acting as agent for property owner Epperly Elite Training Center, LLC, for property at 100 Central Avenue, tax parcel 467-18-1, for a private school in the B3 General Business District. Therefore, be it resolved that the Christiansburg Planning Commission recommends that the Christiansburg Town Council approve the conditional use permit with the following conditions, and there are 2 conditions. This permit is subject to inspections and approval of the facilities by the fire marshal and building official. Number 2, this permit shall be valid for the applicant and transferable to Jason Watson only. And there are 6 for and 2 absent in terms of Planning Commission votes.
So the vote was 6-4.
6 for, 2 were
6
absent.
for it.
Yes,
Okay.
I apologize. 6 for approval, 2 were absent, none against.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate that. And also, we have a conditional use permit request by Albert Land LP for a planned housing development. Do you have a recommendation?
Sir, that one there is currently on hold in Planning Commission and is being brought up again to give time for some additional evaluation and review.
All right, so you're recommending that it be tabled?
Yes, sir. Right now, that's currently the way the Planning Commission is handled. There was not an official vote on it at this time. So.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. All right, let's go back to the conditional use permit by Patricia Klein Epperly for the private school at 100 Central Avenue. You've heard the recommendation of the Planning Commission. What is your desire?
I move that we approve it. Mr. Mayor, before we even do that, I would like to just say that I went over there last week, and
Let's
I...
get on the floor for discussion first. For
Wait a minute,
discussion.
okay.
I move that the council accept the planning commission's recommendation, which includes 2 conditions for this requirement.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the recommendation for the school. Now for discussion.
Thank you. As I was saying, I was over there last week, and I was very impressed with the facility that they have there. I think there have been some talk about parking, and they have room there for 60 cars, and it is literally a private parking lot. There's nobody else that will be interfering for them. They also took me inside, and several classrooms there they're all brand new and look very, very good. There's an area right next to them that they wanted to use that somewhat as a play area, and of course they have the gymnastics and all that right there that they could use too. And I was just, I think, you know, even though it's, you know, pretty much, you think it's almost in downtown Christiansburg, but really it's sort of isolated spot there. And, you know, I don't think there's any worries there at all about, you know, children getting, you know, caught in traffic or anything like that.
Okay.
You know, so I would definitely, I felt very highly about it when I left.
It's my understanding this is kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grades.
That's correct. That's how we intended to start. We hope to grow it from there.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? Okay, Ms. Clerk, if you will poll council on this matter.
Councilman Barber?
Aye.
Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Hubbard?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Hoosier?
Aye.
We have a 6-0 vote. Motion is carried. Congratulations and best wishes. We have an appointment of an at-large member to to the New River Valley Emergency Communication Regional Authority.
Mr. Mayor, do we need to vote to table the other request?
No, since they didn't take a vote to table it, they didn't come with a recommendation.
Sorry to interrupt you.
But thank you for that, because I had considered that today. Anyway, we do need to make this appointment the at-large for the Emergency Services Communication Authority. And we have a gentleman who has served in a number of capacities for us, and that would be Mr. Al Bowman. And Al is pretty well known throughout the community and for his work in industry. And we are recommending that Mr. Bowman be appointed to that position.
I have known Mr. Bowman for over 45 years. I reported directly to him at one time. He is an outstanding person for this position, and I would strongly support it.
He has tremendous interest in it. So we have a motion to appoint Mr. Bowman to the position.
So moved.
Motion and a second to
Second.
appoint Mr. Bowman. Good, thank you.
Is Mr. Bowman here tonight, Mr. Mayor?
No, he isn't. I don't believe Al is here. I haven't seen him.
No, he's not here.
But Mr. Bowman is pretty well known throughout the community for his work in the community and for serving on several different boards. And he has expressed an interest in this one, and we're recommending it.
Mr. Bowman was the president of Poly Scientific for a number of years. He serves on the several bank boards, our own bank boards. He serves on the airport committee, and he's well qualified and will do a good job.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on Mr. Bowman? If not, all in favor of appointing Mr. Bowman to this position, please say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Thank you. And now we have a resolution for Christiansburg High School football. You have a copy of the resolution in front of you. And if you will look down at the whereas number 5, I believe it is. That the football team achieved an unprecedented undefeated season, and they fell short of the state championship, and we put the score. I'd like to remove that score, starting with the word by a score of 14-7, and cross that out, and just leave it falling short of Virginia State Championship. And I'd like a motion to approve the resolution if you've had a chance to read it.
Mr. Mayor, is there any way just to amend that further and just to get rid of everything after championships?
I like that too.
Just get rid of the just falling short altogether. So it would read, the 2010 CHS football team achieved an unprecedented undefeated season during district and regional championships, period.
That sounds good.
The reason I put that in there is because we usually do this recognition for teams who win state championships. And I just wanted to point it out that they just fell short. But whatever you desire, we'll cross it out after the word championship, if that's agreeable with everyone.
Keeps it all positive.
All right, I think you're right.
It would be in a permanent form, so.
Okay, that would be good. Any further discussion on the resolution? I need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the resolution. Now discussion. They had an excellent year, and I think these kids deserve the recognition. So, all in favor of approving the resolution for the high school football team, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you, and we will make sure that's in proper form and that it will be presented on March the 15th, and that meeting will be at the Christiansburg Aquatic Center in the community room. Mr. Town Manager's report.
I'll receive copies of the bills. I'll try to answer any questions.
One question, where is the bridge design at for the Huckleberry?
It's been turned into VDOT. It should be.
Okay. So that's on schedule for
Yes.
Excellent.
So scheduled to be part of the 114 widening.
Thank you.
Any further questions on the bills?
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the payment of the bills. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Mr. Helms, you and Ms. Tweedy will pay the bills, please.
Next thing I have is there will be a meeting Monday, March the 7th, between 5 and 7 here at the Town Hall to talk about the Allegheny and Miller Street utility replacement. Again, neighborhood citizens are invited to come and see what the project entails and what we plan on doing.
What street is that, Miller and what?
Allegheny.
Allegheny. You did that for somewhere there.
Just wanted to make sure we understood.
You just need to ask Mr. Barber that.
Whatever, same thing.
I'd like to, I sent a note to, may I interject?
Yes, please.
I sent a note to several council members on this, but I'd like to acknowledge the staff's initiative in bringing this opportunity forward to the citizens. The town does a whole lot of things that go unnoticed, and I think this is, I really appreciate the staff's effort in getting the word out and presenting an opportunity for citizens to come in and to ask questions and understand how to affect them. And I hope that there's a turnout for this.
I believe that came from Mr. Walters, Todd Walters.
I understand.
We certainly, I know Todd's not here, but we appreciate him doing that.
Christiansburg Cab Service, it's time for the renewal of their licensed operator taxi cab service in Christiansburg. Police department's reviewed this. They're recommended that the following drivers be approved and the company be approved to operate cabs here in town. Robert Vaughn, Irene Vaughn, Rita Bradbury, Dan East, Leah Tillman, Crystal Slusher, and James Trout. And I have a motion.
So moved.
And they've all been checked out by.
Police department's checking
And we have a motion and a second to approve these taxi license. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you, the motion carries.
And last thing I have tonight is the wayfinding sign, the test program signs are up, so you can look at those and see how you like them, or if people think we need to change them or whatever, but they're all up now from exit 114 on the interstate out to Route 8 into town and out towards the Aquatic and Rec Center.
And I had one request this week to have a sign on the interstate directing folks to the Aquatic Center, but I don't think we can put a sign on the interstate.
There is a wayfinding sign program through the state. It's real expensive to put a sign on the interstate. It's an annual fee, I believe.
It is.
Okay, thank you.
That's all.
Did you have one more thing?
You had the Wilderness Trail.
Oh, yes. The request for Wilderness Trails Day came in from the Kiwanis Club, and they'd like to close a portion of West Main Street, Hickok Street, and College Street for the Wilderness Trails activities on the 17th of September.
September 17th.
Third Saturday.
Similar to what they've done past few years.
I move that we do that.
Have a motion to approve the Wilderness Trail, and I think they've already applied for permits
Yes.
in anticipation of our approval.
Second.
And requires the closing of a couple streets, I believe. And we have a motion here and a second here. Any discussion? This has been a successful event. I think this is the 35th year, maybe?
38th.
38th year. And it is a successful activity and brings a lot of money into the community that goes back into children's programs. All in favor of approving the Wilderness Trail date of September the 17th, including the closing of the streets, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you, the motion carries. What else, Mr. Helms?
I think that's all. Unless someone reminds me of something else.
Okay, is there anything else to come before council? Mr. Hubbard, I believe you had one item.
Yeah, just a real quick thing. I know you people have been realizing that I've been involved somewhat with the farmer's market, and I just thought I'd give you an update on what has been done. We've had several different meetings, and we've had some very good turnouts here of people, potential vendors. And also, so what we did is Jim Politis and I were part of the area, and we felt it was not right that government people should be getting involved in that. So both he and I are going to be consultants for the farmers market that's coming up here. And then Casey Newell, who is here tonight, and Barry Robinson and Keith Millsap are all going to be on the executive board, and they're going to be the people who sort of make the decisions on what to do and how to do it. And then we're going to have another meeting next week. So I think things are coming along to some degree, and we just have a lot of favorable responses from people. And sometimes it's a little bit more difficult than you might just think off the top.
I was amazed at the interest when I attended that first meeting. Henry?
Steve, can you email us the executive committee, those three people?
Yeah, I can do that, sure.
Okay, thanks. Thanks. And hopefully by the next meeting or so, we can have a more detailed report about it. And Ms. Newell, would you be prepared to present something at another meeting? Okay, thank you.
I do have a couple things, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
First off, Mr. Helms, the project at Allegheny and Miller Street, I was approached by a couple members of the town. Is there any idea, and I understand they'll probably get this information on the 7th, but is there any idea about how long that's going to take?
I don't know that.
Okay.
It's going to take a while.
That's all I'm thinking. That's my biggest question. And we have a couple people new to our area that are living up around that area that have asked me that.
The streets will have to be closed, everything for local traffic.
I'll make them aware that Monday, March 7th is the time they can get that question answered. Something else I want to mention, it might be a low priority item, the whole issue about whether or not we allow chickens in town, but it's been up now for about 3 months. I guess it came before us the first time, and I think you all know that in growing up we raised hundreds of chickens in town. This is years and years ago, 25 years ago, I guess. But I'd like to see if it shouldn't take that much of a study to determine if we're going to, seriously going to consider it or not. And I think that that's maybe the third person now has brought this up before us. I'd like to see if we can't ratchet that up a little bit, and maybe perhaps even by next meeting have a little bit of an idea as to which way that Randy and them are leaning on this issue. I'd like to see if we kind of can get that and push forward a little bit.
Okay. Mr. Helms, can we ratchet that up?
I don't know what else, what really have to say, what to say. It just seems like it shouldn't take that big of an endeavor.
I've had a couple inquiries.
I don't think it might not be my next meeting because Mr. Wingfield's out for
surgery
up to 2 weeks because of surgery. So
have they done any work on it at all yet?
We have not done any work on it. I'm on the planning commission. We have not done any work on it. After the council meeting a couple of sessions back, when we were told there was maybe other important things we should be looking at, we do have a very aggressive agenda of things that we need to do, and so they took them at their word and sort of tabled it for a while. It can be mentioned again.
All right, mention it again, because as I understand, the chick season is about to...
And there's a lot of localities that are actually doing it and allowing it, so it's not like we're going to be an anomaly.
Salem took a back seat. They just stuck their head in the sand on it yesterday. They're putting it out for whatever. They got all the way to council and then
It fizzled at that
They
point.
tabled it, basically.
they tabled it basically.
The other thing I wanted to mention, Mr. Mayor, is I think it's wonderful that we're recognizing the football team. Again, we've never had an undefeated season like this before, and they're an amazing, talented group of young men. But I think we might also want to start taking, again, an account of what other sports teams are doing here in town. And one of those being, we should acknowledge that the wrestling team just recently completed its 10th straight state championship with numerous nationally recognized wrestlers on that team. It's also the second time in BHSO history that any team or sports team has completed 10 straight states, and I think the only other time was Grundy on 2 separate occasions. And we also had 7 state individual champions. And again, I got a chance to go to Grundy, and I got a chance to go to the state championships, and am amazed at the hard work that they put in and day out. There's also some academic, actually, Carol, I believe you mentioned before that there were, I want to say, the Glee Club was recognized, correct? Maybe 3 or 4 months ago, you brought this up before council, and I took it. I think that it was.
I don't remember.
Okay, well, I believe you did, September, October of last year. But I would hope that we would take stock in everything. I mean, obviously, football is your bread and butter, and it's going to be the one that's most attended.
We have had the track team here
Yeah.
for a state championship, and we have recognized the wrestling teams.
Right.
If this spring we have additional state champions, we'll compile them and try to do it all at one time. Had that recommendation this week. If we do it at the Aquatic Center, it certainly would bring more people in to see the facility. So as these young people excel and win and bring honor to the community, we'll certainly recognize.
Well, I mean, it's amazing that we're a nationally recognized wrestling team here in town. And I always get criticized for the way I pronounce that, but that's my dialect. Yeah, wrestling.
I never knew you spelled wrestling with an R.
I know, that's the way I speak.
But yeah, I think Councilman Hubbard, even a couple of weeks ago when we started talking about recognizing the football team, he said, well, the wrestling team's going to win their 10th state tournament, and we decided not to do anything at this time. We didn't want to jinx them.
Right.
So I think that's going to be on the table.
Sure.
We've recognized them for the last 6 or 8, so
I
I'm sure we'll
so.
put that on the
Well,
table.
I think one thing that we need to acknowledge is that there's so many of our wrestlers that are actually getting Division I scholarships because of their involvement with Christiansburg. I mean, it's a wonderful program, and whoever runs it, he's a class act, in my opinion. One last thing I would like to mention before council. This does not involve athletics at all.
Well, hold on, Gord. I mean, we got to remember the basketball team.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't want to
We're
jinx
gonna take
them
them as
because
they
they're going to
come.
state.
That's exactly
They're going to
right.
state
We're
next
gonna
week.
take them as they finish.
I really think, I mean, for the accomplishments that we've seen, and I know we like to recognize state championships, and the wrestling team is very unique in what they've done. But some of the accomplishments that's been happening recently with our young folks here in town, that's unheard of. I mean, Cord, you went to Christiansburg, I did, Mike, you did. I mean, what's happening right now with our young people is unprecedented.
It's a bit of a golden age, honestly. I can't remember a
And
time.
from what I hear, it should continue for years after this.
And the basketball team is still playing.
The state stays on Friday night.
Well, I think the mayor had someone to suggest something.
Is it Saturday?
Did the same thing with me, is that maybe later on, that we have a special event day, maybe a Saturday or Sunday, where we can have all of these different teams there to celebrate it in a composite type thing. And it sounds like a good idea.
Again, as being a graduate of Christiansburg, probably the most recent of everybody on the council here. Again, I'm very proud of the accomplishments. Last but not least, though, Mr. Mayor, we've brought this up before, and it's something we just voted on, and I approved it, is our representative to the Erie Valley Emergency Communication Regional Authority. It somewhat bothers me that I'm approving a person who I've never met. And I understand that you all know this individual, and I'll take you at your word for it. I'm sure he's a fine man. There's no doubt of that. But I certainly would like it if we could maybe be apprised as to who is seeking that position prior to, 5 minutes before we vote on him or a minute before we vote on him. And maybe even get a chance for him to come before council and just let us know why. Again, I'm not saying that you don't know him and that he's not, I'm sure he's a fine person.
No, I understand.
But I'd love to have an opportunity to at least put a face with a name. And I think that would go a long ways. Because, again, if not, I'm literally voting on something just off of hearsay. And I just don't think I should be voting that way.
Point is well taken.
Yes, sir.
And we discussed it a couple of months ago.
Yeah, we did. It's come up a couple
I
times.
think we had a couple members of the rec commission come in. Jim Williamson was one.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that. I don't know if I get in front of council, but they can at least show up, meet us prior to or afterward.
Okay. That's a point well taken.
And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, is there anything else to come before council at this time?
Yeah, Mr. Showalter had something to say.
You put words in the councilman's mouth.
I think, as Steve wants me to mention Central Business District Committee meeting is Thursday, the hoteliers. We've had a good, RSVP to the meeting, and, we're facilitators, so, I want to tip my hat to Terry and her staff. They're going to actually reach out to the hoteliers and tell them what these swimming organizations are looking for. And the key is to open a line of communication between the aquatic center and the hoteliers. And hopefully this will be, and well, Chuck's going to be there as well, which represents the rec center. So, and that's a big step for open communication between our businesses and our centers. So I'll let you know how that goes.
Okay, good, thank you.
Can I make one last comment along these same lines?
As long as I get to the last word.
Well, we're about to conclude.
Well, I'm gonna get the last word.
Well, I was going to ask one more question, but
I did not, I applaud this type of action, and the budget committee met earlier this week, and the relationship between the efforts of the aquatic center and some of the other, the Heart Raider and all this especially, are encouraging, and the some of the financial indicators are that it is there is increased in financial impact, positive impact to the town, and there'll be more on that. But I applaud these type of Central Business District Committee and so forth for doing this, because it does have a direct positive impact on our bottom line, and we're starting to see even more of that.
Okay, thank you.
They've been
Mr.
active.
Showalter, another question?
just, what's our status on the extension of 114? Do we know anything? The budget's been approved?
It's on the list, and the governor has not signed that yet. And once that's signed, we'll find out the specific projects will be identified. But the soldiers I'm familiar with say that is a very, very good chance that 114 will be improved. The programming money on the governor's list is $22 million. It will not take that much to construct that project. That's a 6-year figure. If it's out there to do a 6-year plan, it will probably be $12 to $14 million to do that. But Barry knows as much as I do, but I have been very interested in that project through the years, and through the combined efforts of the town council and the MPO and the VDOT staff. That project has been well positioned, and it's a good question, but until it shows up on the actual and it's fully funded, it's a bit premature. But we should be very optimistic. We can afford to be very optimistic that project will be funded.
Okay. Mr. Helms mentioned that survey, please.
Everyone should have gotten a copy of the $100 survey in their water bill today or tomorrow. Mine came today. I encourage everyone to fill one out if you live in town or work in town. And if there's only one in each water bill, so if you need another one for your spouse, feel free to pick one up and take it home. So we like each adult to fill out one, and only one.
All right, thank you, Mr. Helms. And yesterday, there was a meeting at the Government Center with respect to the climbing lane for trucks on Interstate 81. It was pretty well attended, and I think that the total cost of that is $70+ million, and it's supposed to take about 2 years to build, so that should be in the works pretty soon. Today, we had a meeting of the VT folks with respect to our extended bus service. It was a good meeting, and we've asked Rebecca Martin to appear before us on the 15th and bring us some ridership information and other information about the bus routes. All right, if there's no further business, we are adjourned.
Change your deal.